Imagine, if you will, a man who is consistently agreeable. He's often taken for granted, finds his emotional state dictated by outside events, and is, as a result, easily influenced. Many men are taught to be harmless and safe. They've traded a capacity for fortitude for comfort and conviction for approval. But then, this man discovers a set of principles, 7 to be exact, that help him develop a kind of quiet power and unshakable self-control. These are the principles that allow you to become what some might call dangerous in a very good way. The premise: what dangerous really means. Now, before we begin, let's be very clear about our terms. When I use a provocative word like dangerous, I am not, of course, talking about becoming a threat or a bully. Research confirms that hostile and aggressive individuals ultimately lose the very social status and respect they seek. That is a weakness disguised as strength. No, the idea here is to become formidable. It's about inspiring a quiet respect by being impressively capable, powerful, and intense in your self-possession. This is about developing such profound self-control and internal strength that you cannot be easily manipulated or coerced. It's about being the person who can walk into a chaotic situation and, through their own centeredness, bring a sense of calm. This is the quiet power that the Stoics understood comes from self-mastery. This path isn't for everyone, but for those who embrace these principles, it offers a framework for a life of purpose and meaning. Rule 1. Move beyond compulsive niceness. The first step in this transformation is to address what is often called the nice guy. The problem, you see, is that this niceness is often not a virtue. It's compulsive, born from a deep-seated fear of rejection and conflict. These individuals say yes when they mean no. They suppress their needs to please others, and they avoid necessary conflict at all costs. This doesn't make you a good person, it just makes you predictable. It makes you easy to control. The rule, then, is to replace that compulsive agreeableness with strategic choice. A truly formidable person has the capacity to make difficult, sometimes unpopular decisions when they are necessary for their vision or their principles. It's not about seeking out conflict, but it is about no longer running from it when it is the right thing to do. Think of it like this: a manager who is too nice to address a toxic employee allows the entire team to suffer. He sacrifices the well-being of the group for his own comfort in avoiding a difficult conversation. A true leader, a formidable person, makes the difficult call. They understand that sometimes the most compassionate action is not the nicest one. You have to be able to say no and stand by your principles without feeling guilty. Rule 2. Master your emotional response. A man who is a slave to his emotions is, in a sense, a puppet, and anyone can pull his strings. An insult makes him lash out. A setback causes him to despair. His reactions are instant and thoughtless, and worst of all, predictable. If other people can dictate your emotional state, they can control you. The rule here is to embrace what the Stoics knew so well. You cannot control external events, but you can always control your response to them. Epictetus called this the dichotomy of control. The moment you feel that emotional hook, that surge of anger, or that pang of anxiety, the goal is to create a gap. In that space between the stimulus and your response, that is where you find your power. You breathe. You think. Then, and only then, you respond in a way that serves your purpose. Imagine a high-stakes negotiation. The person who gets flustered, who lets ego take over, is the person who is likely to lose. The formidable person, however, remains calm. They are detached, strategic, and in control of their inner world. They are a master of their own mind, not a victim of circumstance. Rule 3. Use silence with intention. We live in a world of constant noise. Many people feel a need to fill every silence, to justify every decision. and to over-explain themselves. They talk too much, and in doing so, they often leak power, reveal weaknesses, and give others information unnecessarily. The rule is to learn to use silence with intention. True power isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's about having control over yourself and your actions. Learn to state your position without a rambling apology. In a conversation, allow for a pause before you answer. That moment of silence often makes others lean in. It gives your subsequent words more weight. It communicates that you are thoughtful and cannot be rushed. Silence is a void that other people often feel an overwhelming urge to fill. Let them reveal their intentions and their insecurities. A person who rushes to speak can appear nervous and uncertain. A person who is comfortable in silence appears confident and in command. When you master your own speech, you influence the entire flow of the interaction. We are not even halfway through, and you can see the foundation already being laid. If these principles are resonating with you, and you are serious about this kind of self-development, perhaps take a moment to subscribe. We are trying to build a community of people committed to becoming formidable in this way. We'd be happy if you joined us. Rule 4. Prioritize with honest clarity. Your time, your energy, and your focus are the most valuable resources you possess. And yet, most people allow these assets to be drained by things that offer no return. Unfulfilling jobs, draining relationships, and time-wasting habits. They are loyal to things that are holding them back from living a better life. The rule here is to become the clear-eyed guardian of your mission. You must conduct an honest audit of your life and, as much as it is within your power, cut away the dead weight. This isn't about being cruel. It's an act of profound self-preservation. It means you must set boundaries and enforce them. Think of your life's purpose as a project you are sworn to protect. Would you allow saboteurs to roam freely, draining your resources and undermining your work? Of course not. You would identify them and remove them. You should apply this same clear-eyed prioritization to your life. Your energy is for your purpose. Protect it. Rule 5. Keep your word to yourself. How many times have you told yourself, "Tomorrow, I'll wake up early," or "This week, I'll finally start going to the gym," only to break that promise to yourself hours later? You might think these small self-betrayals are harmless, but they are not. Every time you break your word to yourself, you erode your self-respect. You are teaching your own mind that your commands are not to be taken seriously. The rule is quite simple. Do not break your own word. As Epictetus might say, you are the one who knows what you are worth, so do not sell your integrity cheap. The person who keeps their promises to themselves, especially when no one is watching, builds an unshakable foundation of discipline. This starts with small, manageable things. Waking up without hitting snooze, finishing the workout you started. Each promise kept is another brick in the fortress of your character. A man who trusts himself is a man who cannot be easily destabilized by the opinions or actions of others. He has a spine of steel, forged in the fire of his own integrity. Rule 6. Integrate your darker impulses. Modern society often tells men to be harmless, to suppress their aggression, ambition, and what we might call their darker impulses. But a harmless man is not necessarily a good man. A harmless man may simply be a man incapable of action. A good man, as the thinking goes, is a man who has a tremendous capacity for danger but keeps it under voluntary, rational control. The rule, then, is not to destroy these impulses, but to integrate them. You must acknowledge your capacity for anger, for selfishness, for pride, and then you must train these passions with reason. Don't try to eliminate them. Make them your allies. Your anger can become the fuel to fight injustice. Your selfishness can become the tool that helps you protect your boundaries. Your pride can become the engine that drives you toward excellence. Think of the difference between an animal that is simply weak and one that is powerful but restrained. A sheepdog has the capacity of a wolf, but it is a conscious protector. It is a warrior in the garden, so to speak. The goal is to develop your capacity for fortitude, not because you seek conflict, but because knowing that you can handle yourself fundamentally changes the way you carry yourself in the world. Rule 7. Walk the path of self-reliance. So many people are, in a sense, addicted to validation. They look to others for permission, for approval, for their sense of worth. They apologize for their ambition and for the very drive to build and to overcome obstacles. This is the path of the herd. The final rule is to consciously choose a path of self-reliance. This is the acceptance that the road to true strength is often a solitary one. You must become your own primary source of validation. The formidable person is not looking for a crowd to applaud them. They are on a mission, and they know their own values. You must make friends with solitude, for it is often in the quiet that your clarity and strength are recharged. The Stoics believed our worth comes from our character and our choices, not from the applause of others, which is, after all, outside of our control. Stop waiting for permission to value yourself. A self-reliant person walks their own path, builds their own world, and answers to their own well-reasoned code. So, let's bring it all together. 1. Move beyond compulsive niceness. 2. Master your emotional response. 3. Use silence with intention. 4. Prioritize with honest clarity. 5. Keep your word to yourself. 6. Integrate your darker impulses with reason. And 7. Walk the path of self-reliance. Remember, becoming dangerous in this good way is not about the harm you can do to others. It is about becoming so internally fortified, so disciplined and self-aware, that you are largely immune to manipulation and external control. It is about quiet power. It is about competence. In fact, it's about becoming the person you were always meant to be. If you are ready to continue this journey, your next step might be to understand the subtle forces of attraction and respect. You can watch this next video on The Art of Being Unforgettable. The link is on your screen now and in the description below. Now go and become formidable.